Alright, so it seems like nowadays it's a popular thing to say that Dragon Ball Z is overrated. It's become rapid recently in times that people just constantly gotta say Dragon Ball Z is overrated. It shouldn't get the acclaim that it gets. It doesn't deserve it. Some of the common things I hear is Dragon Ball Z has no plot. Dragon Ball Z has no character development. It's all about, one stronger villain appears and then another one and another one and another one. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that, give my take on it, and just overall see what everyone thinks as far as is Dragon Ball Z truly overrated or not. Now, I want to say one thing first of all. That one of the big acclaim that Dragon Ball Z gets is that it's the greatest action cartoon of all time, greatest action animated piece of animation. Period. That's one of the things that people say about it, and I gotta say that is definitely not an overrated statement. That's not an overrated part of Dragon Ball Z at all. I feel like it definitely deserves that title. Regardless of what anime, what cartoon you bring, you cannot tell me that it tops the action that Dragon Ball Z delivered in its time, especially for its time. But overall, it's just like Dragon Ball Z was ahead of its time. With its battles, with its fighting sequences, everything about it was ahead of its time as far as the action goes. And as far as the statement that Dragon Ball Z is the greatest action cartoon of all time, that is legit. That is not overrated at all. I don't feel as though that is an overrated thing about Dragon Ball Z. I feel it definitely deserves it because regardless of old or new, you bring me an anime or cartoon that has action in it, and it still won't top Dragon Ball Z's action. It won't. It really won't. There's nothing that comes close to Dragon Ball Z's action. There are series that have amazing action in it. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, all of them, one of the big things about them that people love is the action. But at the end of the day, Dragon Ball Z is in a class of its own when it comes to action sequences and all-around battles. So, as far as that goes, I feel as though Dragon Ball Z deserves that title, and it's not overrated. Now, as far as people just overall saying it's the greatest anime of all time, that's where I will say that I think that's a bit of an overrated thing to say, because at the end of the day, Dragon Ball Z, it's not. No, it's not the greatest anime of all time. It's greatest action, like I said, but to say that it's the greatest anime, at the end of the day, there really is no greatest anime, because first of all, it comes down to preference. Some people, they only like shoujo. Some people, they only want to see horror. Some people, they only want to see action. So to say that an action anime, tops everything else, no, it's definitely not the greatest anime of all time, because it really isn't. You can say it's an awesome anime, you can say it's an action-packed anime, you can say a lot of things about it, but to say it's the greatest, no, I won't say that. Now, addressing the whole thing of Dragon Ball Z has no plot and character development. I guess let's go with character development before we go to the actual plot. Now, character development. So you're telling me that Vegeta didn't develop as a character at all? We started off with this cold Saiyan prince just looking to kill people and make a buck for Frieza's name, and then eventually ultimately becoming a father and finding a home on Earth. Yeah, he relapsed with the whole Bobbity thing, but that was just a whole thing of a growing experience for him. So you're telling me there was no character development there from a cold-hearted, basically you could say he's a piece of shit. He starts off just a cold-hearted bastard, and he ultimately becomes a father of two, and a real man, a husband, a father. No character development there? Goku started off as a naive little kid, knew nothing about the world in the beginning of Dragon Ball. By the end, he still has that naivety to him, that, he still isn't 100%, because at the end of the day, that's his personality intact. But he became such a much wiser person. He understands what needs to be done. He understands you can't always let people go. You can't always give the best in people, because some people, they just not are, they're not good people. So you're telling me there's no character development there? Gohan, beginning of Dragon Ball Z to the end of Z, you're telling me that he didn't develop? Started off really shy, scared of the world, scared of everything, just totally scared of everything. And by the end of the series, he becomes the hero that he always wanted to be. He always needed to be. Well, not really wanted to be, because he never really wanted to be a hero. He wanted to be what his mother set him out to be. But he ultimately could have taken the position if Toriyama would have let Goku stay dead. So that's not character development. I can go on and on and on with examples of character development. So to say there's no character development in Dragon Ball Z, total bullshit. Total bullshit. So, people saying that, like, trying to knock off its credibility as far as that goes. Now, as far as plot goes, you gotta remember, Dragon Ball Z is also connected to Dragon Ball. It's one series. They just put a Z in the end of it for marketing purposes. But at the end of the day, the manga in Japan is Dragon Ball. It is Dragon Ball. And the plot really just overall, yeah, it does have that kind of cliche at times that, okay, one a powerful villain comes and another one and another one. From Z onward, you would say it's basically Gohan's journey to becoming the hero that his father needs to replace him one day. So as far as Z goes, that's basically the plot, is basically developing this character and to see if one day he can take up the mantle that Goku needs. Goku needs somebody to surpass him and basically take over as, like, what you would say is guardian of the Earth, even though he's technically not. But as far as, just protecting the Earth, that's the whole plot of Z. And Dragon Ball is basically him wanting to become the strongest fighter on Earth. Even though in the first arc, he's pretty much just one of the strongest. So right there, that is the plot. And throughout the journey, there's just different people that show up. But that's the main premise of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So once again, overall, I say that is a mixed thing. As far as if you're saying that Dragon Ball Z is overrated as far as the action goes, you're full of shit. It's the greatest action cartoon, period. I will tell you that right now. I've seen almost the greatest. I've seen some of the greatest out there I've seen. And Dragon Ball Z to this day, they don't hold a candle to it. It just has some of the best fighting, some of the most climactic, crazy, out-of-this-world fighting. Is it the greatest anime? No. Does it lack in character development? Does it not have a plot? Indeed, it has both. So I'm mixed on it. It's overrated, and when people say that it's the greatest anime of all time, because like I said, it really isn't. You can't say that. Some people, they only want to watch anime like Fruits Basket. And overall, I'm just mixed on it. I'd say that it gets its just due where it deserves, and at times you can say something that they say, but overall, for the most part, it deserves what it got. At the end of the day, Dragon Ball Z changed anime as a whole. It changed shonen anime as a whole. It changed practically the world. It brought anime on its back worldwide and made anime more appealing and more marketable and more mainstream in places like America, the UK, etc. So Dragon Ball Z definitely deserves a lot of the praise that it gets. Not all of it, but for the most part, I guess I would say that no, it's not really overrated. You can say it's overrated when people say one statement, but for the most part, Dragon Ball Z deserves what it got because it did major things. It provided what it needed to, and it also brought anime as a medium to the forefront and to mainstream. And overall, it still brought quality material. So it wasn't only like that it brought, that it's popular, but it also has good stuff to back it. Let me know what you think, though. Is Dragon Ball Z overrated? Does it, the character development, is it there? Is the story there? What do you think about this whole thing? And is it the greatest action cartoon in your opinion? Comment section below, overall thoughts, because this is one thing that I've been trying to tackle for like a year now, and I just never really got around to it. And with Battle of Gods coming out, people are still like, Dragon Ball Z needs to die, it needs to end already. No, it doesn't. Dragon Ball Z, as long as I'm alive, I would love to see it constantly come back, because you can never stop the Super Saiyans. You can never stop Son Goku. I'm just saying. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.